What's up guys, I'm Nico of CamCrunch, and today I'm doing my first ever Q&A on the CamCrunch YouTube channel. And yesterday I asked you guys on Facebook, on the CamCrunch Facebook page, to leave me questions that I can answer on this Q&A. And a lot of you guys responded, more than I expected actually, so I'm going to try to get through as many of them as I can today without making this video too long. So let's just get started. The first question is from Vicente, and he asks, how long did it take me to save up for my 24 to 70mm lens? And when I was in high school, it took me a long time in general to save up for my photography equipment because the only money that I was making was from my parents, my allowance, my lunch money, and birthday and Christmas money. That was it. So it took me a long time to save up for anything that I wanted, whether it was photography related or basically anything. But now that I'm, making my own money, everything that I don't use to pay for bills and any of that stuff, I can put towards photography equipment. And if I did save enough money, it would probably take me around 2 to 3 months to afford a 24 to 70mm lens. I hope that answers your question. And if you're saving up for a 24 to 70mm lens, good luck. It's a great lens and you'll definitely love it. The second question is from Mario, and he asks, what do you do in low light situations when you have one external flash and you don't want to increase your ISO too much because you don't want to increase your noise? And the simple answer to that is, if light is, there's not too much light, you will have to increase your ISO to increase your ambient exposure. It's the only way, unless you're doing long exposures, which I don't think is the case through your question, but you will have to increase your ISO unless you have tons of flashes that can light your background, your foreground, your subject, and all that stuff. Try not to increase it too much, just try to limit it to as little as you can, but you will have to increase your ISO. The next question is from Marcus, and he asks if he needs 2 strobes if he's doing on-location work, or if he is good enough with 1 strobe. So he's purchasing his first strobist kit. It's basically 1 strobe or 2 strobes. And the advice that I give to everyone that is just starting off with off-camera flash is to just buy 1 flash, because first of all, you never know if you're going to like off-camera flash. You might hate it, in fact, and if you invest too much money in it and you end up selling everything that you bought, you are going to lose money in the process. So it's better just investing in as little as you can without sacrificing quality, of course, rather than investing in a lot of money and losing money in the process. Secondly, if you're doing on-location shoots and you have like the sun available, the sky available, you'll usually only really need 1 other flash. All the other extra flashes you might need to get a specific look that you want, but you will be able to get by with just 1 flash, definitely, if you have the sun there. So you'll know if you want or need the second flash through experience, so just buy 1 first and upgrade later if you need to. So the next question is from Amanda, and she is practicing her nighttime shooting this weekend, and she wants to know what to look for or what to do when there is little to no light in the locations that you're shooting in. And my advice to that is, well, there are tons of things that go through my mind when this question was asked. The first one is, if you can use flash, you might want to use flash. It's a good way to add light to any situation where you don't have enough light. But you might not want to do that, and judging from the question, it doesn't look like you do. The second one is, if you can do long exposures, do long exposures. But obviously, if you have moving subjects and you don't want them to blur, you can't do long exposures. If you're doing handheld, you can't do long exposures. So the third thing is really just to look for those small amounts of light that you have in the location that you're shooting in, however small they may be, whether they're little lamps, they're street lights, they're televisions, they're windows, they're lights from a billboard, whatever small light source that you have to try to use that to your advantage, because what makes a good photo is how it's lit. It's the light that's in it, regardless of the subject, because your subject can be like the most amazing subject in the world. It can be I don't know, whatever it is, but if that subject isn't lit that well, you'll get a really flat image, visually at least. So if 2 people are taking pictures of something, the quality of light will make or break, or will separate those pictures from one another despite them being the exact same picture. So look for those little light sources that you have and take advantage of them and make really nice photos. The next one is from Jeremy, and he asked, do you think we'll see entry level or enthusiast level full frame cameras in the future? And the simple answer to that is yes, because that's the way technology is going. You know, 4 years ago we had the 5D Mark II, which was $3,000. Now we have the 6D, which is $2,000. Who knows when a $1,000 full frame camera will come out? But it is going to happen. It's just a matter of when we will see it. But you know, for sure it's going to happen in the future. It's just the way things are going. The next question is from James, and he asks, do you critique yourself harshly? Do you critique others harshly? How do you feel about charging people for photos that you take, and how do you go about pricing those photos? So I'll answer the latter part of the questions first, and that is, how do I feel about charging people money for the photos that I take, and how do I go about pricing it? And it's really easy for me to answer that question because I don't charge anyone for photos that I take, not at this point at least. And the reason for that is because maybe I don't feel confident enough with my photos to be, you know, asking people to pay for them. I don't feel like people should be paying for my work as it stands. Maybe in the future as I improve, but as of this moment, I really don't want to charge anyone for my work. So in terms of pricing, I can't give you too specific advice because I don't know too much about that part of the photography industry. But just go around and look what other people are charging for the work, people at your level. Also, you have to take into account what you think your worth is costs and what others think your worth is cost, and you just have to balance those things out. And obviously, as you get better and as you get more well known as a photographer, you can charge more, but you always have to start on the bottom and work your way up. The next question is again from Amanda, and she asks, how old were you when you realized how much you loved the world of photography and the world of cameras? And I've always loved technology in general, and I've always loved art. I've always painted, I've always drawn for as long as I can remember. But in high school was when I really committed to photography. It was when I told myself that I would save up for a camera, and then I just learned photography. And then from there, you know, my passion for photography grew. So I guess the quick answer to that is high school. High school is, you know, when I really found photography as you know, one of my passions. The next question is continuous or flash, and that is from Jurina, and it's continuous light or flash. And currently I think I'd go with flash over continuous because first of all, it's what I'm used to, it's what I know more about, it's what I've pretty much always done. But I am growing interest in continuous lighting, that aspect of what you see is what you get, and you automatically see how the light is affecting your subject, and that's something I want to get more into. So yeah, as of right now, I do like flash a lot more, but I am really interested in continuous light. The next question is from Tom, and he asks, what is the next lens or camera body that I'm going to purchase? And the next lens or camera body that I'm going to buy is probably the 50mm f1.2 Canon L series lens. And the reason for that is the only two lenses that really get used from me lately are the 17-40 and the 50mm prime. And you know, like the 50mm f1.2 is like the epitome of 50mm lens, and I really want to be able to experience that super shallow depth of field, having that extra amount of control with that f1.2 aperture. And yeah, you know, again, the 17-40 and the 50 are the only ones really getting used, so I'm probably going to sell like the 24-105 to be able to fund that 50mm and hopefully, you know, get some great shots with it. The next question is from Sue, and she asks, out of all the places that I've taken my camera to, what has been my favorite to photograph? And it probably has to be Japan. And if you look at my Flickr, I didn't get too many keepers from that trip. I didn't get as many as I wanted to, but it was really definitely a different experience in terms of photographing because it felt like I was really up close to everything, and it was so fast paced that it was really nothing like I've ever experienced before in terms of photographing. So maybe that's why I didn't get too many keepers, but it was really definitely exciting, and I definitely loved photographing it. And it's one place that I'd really love to visit again in the future and definitely photograph a lot more, spend a little bit more time in more areas of Japan, just to be able to get some nice shots. So that's it, guys, for this video. There are a few more questions that I will try to get to in a future video, or I'll answer those on the Facebook page. But whatever the case is, I will get to those questions eventually. I hope you guys like this video. I hope it's not too long, not too boring. Again, leave me, your suggestions and your feedback, and hopefully the next segment will be even better than this. And yeah, I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.